the heartbreaking pictures on the social medias of whole families under gun threat, being taken away from home and mistreated. More than 300 killed, murdered, tens of missing, and some of them kidnapped, missing I should say, because some were kidnapped as bodies, some were alive, including in all the numbers I will give you many, quite a few foreign nationals. The terrorists are going to pay a very, very, very big price. The support, the wall-to-wall support started by Prime Minister Modi, who tweeted a very supportive tweet. We are really, really bombarded with love and support. That's why we will need this very strong support of our Indian friends. India, again, as a very influential country in the world, it's a time for explaining to the terrorists that you don't mess with the wrong people. Yesterday, 6:30 in the morning, when people in Israel were still sleeping, and during an important Jewish holiday, there was a coordinated attack of the terror organization Hamas from Gaza. They opened fire, massive fire, of rockets and missiles to different communities, civilian communities around Israel. And in parallel, hundreds of terrorists of Hamas infiltrated different Jewish communities which are in the vicinity of the Gaza Strip. This was an unprovoked move, and now that information is starting to flow in, we understand the size of the disaster, we understand the atrocities and the war crimes which were committed. They murdered, hijacked children, women, elderly. I'm sure that you saw the heartbreaking pictures on the social medias of whole families under gun threat, being taken away from home and mistreated. The numbers that we are so far counting, and they will increase, I'm sorry to say, are more than 300 killed, murdered, tens of missing, and some of them kidnapped, missing I should say, because some were kidnapped as bodies, some were alive, including in all the numbers I will give you many, quite a few foreign nationals. We don't know of Indian foreign nationals so far. We didn't get any information of such. There are more than 1,800 wounded, quite many of them in severe situation. I'm sure you saw the videos. They went from house to house and just shot people from close range. The pictures are terrible. And in parallel to all of that, more than 3,500 rockets so far were fired, and all is still, people spoke to me before, there is still activity on the ground in some very small pockets that very few terrorists are still there, but most of the places, the vast majority, is back under full control. And also the rockets are continuing. The terrorists are going to pay a very, very, very big price. We will do it in our pace, in our choosing, the way we want it. I was personally, and I think all my staff and many Israelis were very much it was heart-warming to us to see the huge support we got here from India, from all around. Starting, first of all, India, like Israel, knows terror, knows a victim of terror and fighting terror for many years. The support, the wall-to-wall support started by Prime Minister Modi, who tweeted a very supportive tweet. But I was approached by ministers, by business people, by civil servants, by ordinary Indians. Just people wrote to us. You see the social media, We are really, really bombarded with love and support. Amazing. It's not something we take for granted. And it, you know, I spoke about moral support that we get from India. The physical work we know how to do. We need the moral support. Because, you know, the next stage, if we know the Hamas from the past, the next thing, they will start hiding behind civilian population. Now they have also hostages, Israeli hostages to hide behind, and to present themselves as the victim. This is always the issue, and that's why we will need this very strong support of our Indian friends. And India, again, as a very influential country in the world, as a country who knows terrorism and understands the crisis, it will be very important for us to give us the ability to do what we need to do in order to make sure that Hamas will not be able to continue doing atrocities. It's clear to us that Iran is involved with it. We know for sure about supplying of weapons, training, and I will not exclude even organizing or helping organize this specific attack. There is an attempt now also of Hezbollah to heat the northern border in order to, you know, to take the attention of Israel. It's places where Indian UNIFIL soldiers are there. I hope they will all be okay. I hope Hezbollah will not misread us. It will be very costly to Lebanon and to Hezbollah. There was also an attack on Israeli tourists in Alexandria by an Egyptian security person, I understand. I will tell you, this is part of a concept that the Iranians are pushing of looking at Israel as a spider web, a country or held by a spider web, because they misread our internal debates from time to time as weakness. This is our power. It's not that it's easy to beat us. And you know why we will prevail? We will prevail because we have no other option. I mean, the Jews all over the centuries suffered persecution and killing in many, many countries, not in India, of course. And once we have our own country, we had many, many wars and many challenges. We always prevailed. And we prevailed because we have no alternative. It's not that we can go to other places. So I'll stop here, and I'm happy to answer your questions.
We will be taking one question at a time. Yes, please. Sorry,
did I hear it right that there are Egyptian security personnel that have targeted Israeli tourists?
That's according to the news reports. This is you can see it in international news outlets. That's what they write. We don't have the details yet.
Okay. Yes,
yeah. Sir, will you seek support from countries like war on terror, what US did, like war on terror, or will you go for mediation?
For?
Mediation.
Mediation?
Can India or any other country?
I don't think that it's time for mediation. I think it's a time for explaining to the terrorists that you don't mess with the wrong people. Mediation will have its time when we will be in the position that we will want to mediate. For the time being, I think we have to go the way we know how to go, and the time also for talks will come. It's not now.
Sir Siddhant from Beyond, if you can give us a situation right now, how much better the situation is as compared to when the terror strikes were launched, and when do you think that there will be complete normalization in your country?
Well, first of all, Israel is never normal. What others call normal, what we call normal, other people don't see as normal. All our lives we live under threat. We are used to that. We all go to military service. It's not. Don't look for normality. But to your question, the situation is much better. Yesterday, there were terrorists in more than 20 communities. Now there are none, maybe one or two pockets, but it's contained to a very small place, and there are forces fighting them or surrounding them there. And I think we are at the stage where we are back to to our usual plan. The only thing that we have here is that we have human civilian hostages in Gaza, which will be complicated, of course. But apart from that, I think that we are stabilized. There are rockets that are coming, but we know how to deal. We have Iron Dome, and we have our procedures of safe rooms. And if we keep all these, we are usually able to minimize to close to zero the number of casualties from the missiles and the rockets. And now we are freer to take what we need to do in order to make sure this doesn't happen again.
So Ayushi from NI, sir, you mentioned about Iran. So because this provocation has given rise to the fact that Israel may attack Iran because of its support to Hamas. So what is the possibility of that? Also, anything that you want to like to say on Turkey's role in support to Hamas as well?
As I said before, we will reserve for ourselves the decision when and how to attack, to react. First of all, we are going to react to the perpetrators. And if we find that they are accomplices, we have our own ways of how to deal with the people who are going in, who are trying to hurt us. So we always have, and we will have in the future. For the time being, Hamas is the issue, and others supporting, their time will come if we will find out that they were behind it. People, you remember from Munich, after the killing of the Israeli athletes, Israel did not rest until it got to all the people who were responsible for that. And this is our DNA. It's not something that we did once.
Sir, Gursimran from Republic TV. My question is that on the one side we are seeing Hamas terrorists advancing into your territory yesterday, what we saw, and then it was followed by the attack from the Lebanon side, Hezbollah. Don't you see that the opposition side, they are opening multiple fronts against Israel, and how you are going to respond to it? Because you also said that you have credible evidences when it comes to the involvement of Iran.
First of all, of course they want to create the feeling that Israel is surrounded, that it's from all over, but we know how to deal with more than one front. I really suggest to Hezbollah not to make the mistake of taking us there, down that road. It will be very, very costly to them and to Lebanon. But other than that, again, our evidence is very clear. We know a lot of, we stopped and we foiled, and we know of many attempts of Iran to supply advanced weapons to Hamas, and for that we are sure.
I'm Saurabh from Economic Times. Probably the biggest concern at this point of time for other countries who have been friendly with Israel is the hostage situation for all the people that Hamas could have probably dragged into their territory. Do you see any kind of time frame before, after which there can be some kind of negotiations on the this thing?
So I think you're asking the same question that was asked before in different words. I think I said before that now it's time for action. There will be time maybe for negotiation in the future. We are not discussing it now. It's not in the agenda. Now we have to take action. We have to restore order. We have to remind our adversaries of our capabilities. And then if there will be the time for negotiations, it will also be there.
Our countries, especially the Middle East countries and our neighbor as well, who have questioned Israel's stand in last few decades and have made them responsible, like Israel responsible for what is happening. How do you respond to it? This includes Pakistan, it includes OIC countries, as well as China, which has condemned that act, but still say that two-state theory should be put on ground.
I think that it's really bad when I see people who are unable to condemn the murder of more than 300 men, women and children, the kidnapping of civilians, atrocities, war crimes. It's really a pity, and trying to put it in a context that justifies these atrocities is an atrocity by itself. And I think that one has to remember, terror is terror is terror. Terror is not accepted in any way and any means. Israel was always a leader in the world in confronting and combating terrorism, and we are going to show everyone our abilities very soon.
From Breaking News, Detailed analysis, in-depth interviews and explainers. Follow the Times of India. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like our videos and hit the bell icon to stay updated with the latest.